Please introduce.
Just your name, suburb, and question.
Thank you very much, Treasurer, for coming out tonight to speak with our community. My name is Dr. Gold Strasberg. I'm a GP working locally here in the Bracken Ridge communities. And my question tonight was very simple, just about the cash ban 2019 and what evidence there is that that is actually going to prevent the so-called black economy. There's been a lot of talk tonight about things that are ostensibly out of the control of the government, like the geopolitical climate and the climate of the planet. But here, you know, the local economic climate, I think introducing a bill which makes it problematic to use legal tender and puts further impositions upon local businesses is a big problem that the community is to be aware of. And I was just wondering, from what you've learned so far, what evidence there is that a cash ban bill will prevent a so-called black economy. Thank
Well,
you.
this came out of, we had, as you know, we had a black economy task force which looked at these particular issues. And what it found is that the integrity of our tax system is very hard to trace some of those payments when people are using big lots of cash above $10,000. So it's been a black economy task force issue that has been looked at. Obviously, what's happening across our economy is there's the growing digital payments and transformation of people using a lot more credit cards or electronic payments than cash payments. And so this was really just to go to the heart of the issue of ensuring that there was less of a black economy and more of an economy which was sticking to the right rules.
Just quickly, Cheryl, I just want to go to a question over here. But what about, Treasurer, what about the idea about, you know, that if everything's done electronically through the banks, what about negative interest rates? I hear people talking about negative interest rates where the banks will then charge us for keeping savings in the account. I mean, what is happening overseas? What is your opinion on that? And how do we know that, you know, we're going to maintain rights and everything?
So Australia has now got a cash rate at 0.75%. That's the lowest we've ever had when it comes to our interest rates. Now, there are winners and there are losers. If you're buying your first home, and as you know, we've encouraged 10,000 first home buyers through a home loan deposit scheme to get out there in the market, and we're helping. If you're borrowing money from the bank to buy a home, you like the interest rates being low. If you're somebody who saved your whole life and you're putting money in the bank and the interest rates come down, you're getting less for it, and that makes your savings for your retirement that much more difficult. Now, so the interest rates are set by the Independent Reserve Bank. Monetary policy is set by the Reserve Bank. As the Treasurer and as the government, we're focused on fiscal policy. They're different responsibilities. But I have to say to you, a lot of countries around the world have reduced their interest rates. What you refer to is called negative interest rates, or really unconventional monetary policy. You see that in Japan, parts of Europe,
negative interest rates.
Negative interest rates across some parts of the world. What we have is 0.75, so we're not at that point. But what I do know is that we are focused on our part, which is the fiscal policy, and the Reserve Bank is focused on that.
I'm putting him on the spot here. Just what about deeming rates? The lady in the front here mentioned deeming rates.
So
they're higher than the normal Reserve Bank rate. What are we doing there?
We made changes to the deeming rates, and people will have issues, but what we did is we made changes to the deeming rates, and the reason why the cash rate doesn't necessarily equal the deeming rate is because people actually have more than just money in the bank. They also have money in super, or they have money in the stock market or in other areas.
And what has been the return on the stock market?
Well,
it's been
7 or 8, 9%. And as you know, the stock market this week hit a record high. Now, I don't comment day to day on stock markets because that's, again, decisions are independent of government. But what you're seeing with low interest rates is that people who would otherwise put money in the bank, because they're now getting less out of the bank, they're going to invest in other assets like stocks or in property, and that's where you get what is called asset price inflation, where you start to get increased asset prices because people are chasing a yield that they can't get from.
Okay, second last question here. Name and suburb.
Yes, my name is Roger. I'm